Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Video's Creators Lounge. This is Jen, your host. And tonight we are with Jessica Nathania.
Hi.
Ooh.
Thank you for having me.
Can I have an applause for her, please? Yes. So Jessica, she is a songwriter and performer. Welcome. How are you tonight?
Thank you. I'm really good. How about you?
I am awesome. Great. It's great to have you here.
Good being here.
I heard
Very excited.
I heard this is your second time here.
It is my second
Ooh,
time.
I wasn't here back then, so that's great. I didn't have the chance to hear you perform last time, so
Yeah, so last time I was with a good friend of mine. He was also singer-songwriter. His name is Victor Wogu. Shout out for Victor if you were watching.
Shout out.
But yeah, I had the opportunity to sing for him, and then I'm here. I'm back, but tonight I'm representing myself. I'm with a good friend of mine, a talented keyboard player, XinTian. She'll be playing for me, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
For our set.
Great, and we are excited to have you.
Thank you.
So yes, tonight we are just gonna get to know Jessica a little bit more, and I wanted to start from the basics, right? So can you tell me when, like, if you have any memories, right? When was the first time that music, I don't know, like, connected or speak to you and you're like, okay, music is my thing?
So I started singing at a very young age. My mom would always tell me stories of like when I was just 2 years old, so I barely even like talk in full sentences. I would like sing, Disney songs. I was a huge Christina Aguilera fan. So I grew up listening to like Reflection, and then like later her album, like Back to Basics. Speaking of getting to the basics, but then I grew up just always like performing. I used to do like sort of like musicals here and there, but then I didn't realize that I wanted to do this as a career, like for my life, until I graduated high school. And then I decided to move here. So I am from Jakarta, Indonesia. I decided to move here in 2015 to pursue music at Berkeley.
Wow.
And that's where my life sort of changed, I guess. Like I knew that like I wanted to do music my entire life.
Yeah.
And I used to, write songs here and there when back home, but I didn't think that, I would perform it somewhere. It was just some sort of tool or like platform for me to just get the things out of my head somewhere.
Yeah, for you to express.
Yeah, and I am an only child, so I just I spent a lot of time just by myself in my bedroom, and that's where all the music happened, I guess.
Oh my God. That's
and
great.
then Berkeley influenced me. Being around other musicians helped me grow to become the musician who I am today, which I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm very grateful for where I am right now. But I'm still learning. I'm still growing. I hope that I'm making progress, and yeah.
Awesome, beautiful. So the team sent me a little bit of information on you.
Ooh.
And I read that you win your first online singing. Is this something that we can talk about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Star
Voices, yeah. Oh my gosh. No, but
when was this?
Yes, this was when I was 16, and I was their youngest like winner at that time, like in that season. But they also helped me found that confidence, because I mean everything was online. It was a very interesting experience, because I didn't have all of these fancy equipments at home. It was just like a little MIDI keyboard and then like a laptop, and then I would just like sing through like the little microphone hole on back where it wasn't AirPods yet.
Yeah.
And then I would just like do the editing myself, layer some harmonies here and there, and then upload it on SoundCloud, and then I will get judged by these amazing musicians on Twitter. And so it's sort of of like American Idol kind of vibe, but everything was online, and then people like the followers on Twitter can vote every week, and then like you get eliminated if you don't have enough votes, this and that, and then I became the winner, and that really helped me find that confidence, like, oh, like,
Like, wow,
I
if
can
I
do
win
this.
then I can do this. Wow.
So yeah.
How was that like? How was that experience? Like you being, like you mentioned, you being the youngest one in this competition. Like, did you felt like at any time you felt like, oh, I won't make it? Like, how was that? That experience.
Yeah, it was definitely intimidating because like all of the other contestants were like older and like much more experienced. Their production were, I guess, like better than mine because I just did everything myself. But I remember during like the semifinals, I submitted an original song which I never like did before. I've never done it before, and then they actually loved it, and like that also like made me realize, oh, I really, really want to share my originals with people. I want my songs to be heard, like not just being kept in my voice memo or like in a folder. And yeah, so yeah, but going back to like being the youngest, like I just took everything like with a humble mindset. I just like, oh, like I am the youngest. There's so much more that I need to learn from like these other contestants who are older than me, and so yeah.
That's great. So was that like your first like exposure?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because after that, I went on. There was another like singing competition, and then I ended up winning and collaborating with like one of Indonesia's most, I guess, like famous pop vocalists. His name is Rio Febrian. Also shout out Kak Rio if you're watching. But he helped me produce my first single after that. So
wow, yes, okay, great. Amazing. Look at that. Okay, great. So moving forward on, on now.
Yeah.
Or I know that you mentioned when we were back cameras that you released your EP in 2018.
Yes,
Correct? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So that EP was, I guess, a compilation of stuff that I did throughout my studies. It was a collaboration with some of my friends who were also at Berkeley, and then we just decided to, hey, let's produce this together, and then make sort of like a story in the form of an EP. And I called it Fragile because as a singer-songwriter, I truly believe that there's nothing wrong with being fragile, like showing your emotions, showing your vulnerability. And the songs that were on that EP also came from a very personal place. Everybody that was involved, had their own stories that they, I guess, shared through their playing.
Yeah.
Whether that is like if we co-wrote the song together, or if they just poured their heart out through their playing their guitar, like piano. So yeah, it was a stepping stone for me, like being able to put out like a summary of who I am as a singer-songwriter. And yeah, so it is available on iTunes, Spotify, all that jazz.
Where are they?
So,
you said Spotify. How they can find you if they want to reach you?
You can just type my name, Jessica Nathania.
Awesome.
And then it is under my artist page. Yep.
Awesome. And how many songs are they in this EP?
There are 5 songs in the EP.
So if you have to pick like your favorite song from this EP, which would it be and why?
Can I pick 2?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so the first one I'm actually going to be performing tonight.
Great.
It is called Oxygen. It talks about the importance of self-acceptance and self-love, and not being dependent on other people's appraisals or approval, because the only approval that you need is from yourself. So I really like that. Thank you. And another one is called Sleep. This is very personal to me. And fun fact, when I recorded this, because it was just the song is just me and an acoustic guitar, so it's very stripped down. It's very simple. And when we recorded this, through in the middle of the song, I like broke down in tears and I couldn't finish.
Wow.
But we decided to like keep the take and like use that because it really showed I guess the genuine emotion behind it. And it always, like, performing that song always reminds me of you know, if even in my lowest point, music is always there for me, and I can always go turn to music.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's those are my two favorites in the EP.
Are you gonna be performing them both or only the first one?
No, just one.
Just
so
one.
if you want, if you're curious, then go stream my EP.
I will, because now I'm like, okay, I need to hear that song.
Aw, thank you.
That sounds very beautiful. So I want to switch it up real quick, and I actually want you to talk to us about, like, maybe how this pandemic has, you know, affected you or your music, or maybe how you've found inspiration through it.
You know, the pandemic is like truly challenging, and I don't want to speak for everybody because I know everyone is going through their own battles, but for me, I used to think that everything happens for a reason, but then I also realized that not everything has to have a reason behind it. It just happens, and it's just a matter of how you turn your perspective and how you choose to see things. So I, instead of, just mourning, I guess I decided to look at it in a way of like, oh, this is an opportunity for me to really reflect on myself, since I'm just, in isolation and quarantine, and, think of really being grateful of what I already have, like how important family is, even though I'm like miles away from my family, but I'm still grateful that I still have a family who are still healthy. And I also see this as an opportunity to collaborate more. Like, we did a lot of virtual like covers or like collaborations together. Like, my friend back home in Indonesia would like send me a recording of her playing piano, and I would like record over it, and then we'll edit the two together. It seems like we're in the same room, so it's like it really helped me think outside of the box and like challenge myself. But I'm not gonna lie, it is hard. It made me like question myself and like my career. Like, do I really want to do like music? Because like now every like like all the gigs are canceled. Like, it is really hard for artists.
Definitely.
But yeah, I guess you just gotta keep going and just be hopeful that there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
That's well, thank you for opening up
of
course,
terms
of how you've been dealing with this pandemic, because everyone has been dealing with it differently. Here at this platform we've had other artists, and what I've learned is, like, obviously this has been very, very hard for everyone, but artists have, like, I don't know, the spirit, right? And they find the best out of the worst, and they manage to just use this time to create and exactly just to dig deep in their thoughts or in their emotion, because especially artists, it's like a rush all the time, right? And sometimes they don't have just the time to sit and deal with everything that they've been dealing and to unpack and process. So it's been just the time to gather everything you've been going through.
Absolutely, I agree.
And sometimes the best music happen in difficult moments. So
absolutely.
I know that a lot of artists just like have used this time to also create. Great, awesome. And we were talking also a little bit off camera, and you mentioned some future upcoming projects. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So I know I'm dying to put out new music, because I am very proud of that EP, but it is like 2 years old, so it's like it's time. It's very it's time for me to put out new music. But going back to the pandemic, like everything was postponed, but I am in the works. Like I'm brewing new things, and thank you to VCL for giving me the opportunity to. I'll be sharing 2 unreleased songs that hopefully will be in my first debut album.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Mm-hmm. What's the name of these songs?
So one is called Talk About It, and the second one is called Thank You.
Okay, great. Can you tell me a little bit about the creative process of these songs? Sure.
So I always start with, I guess, my own personal experience and my personal thoughts. So anytime I'm feeling, like angry at somebody, I'll just like, oh, okay, type it in my voice memo. Like instead of being petty and like texting that person right away, I'll just I'll bottle up my emotions first and then like just turn this into a song idea. Sometimes I do that. So I'll talk a little bit about Thank You because so that song came after a breakup. So us girls, we can be very like salty after breaking up, especially if you're the one who got dumped, I guess. Mm-hmm. But instead of writing like an FU song, I decided to write a thank you song. Because I'm grateful because look at where I am today. I wouldn't be happy if I were still with that person. So just a little story. So I just, just to look at it in a different perspective.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Did you also was part of the process of like finding the melody and stuff for the song?
I usually start on piano. I grew up playing piano too. So I would, I will usually have some lyric ideas, and then I'll just try to, match it with the chord progression on the keys, and then I'll just like sing it to myself, like mumble it, and then and then it'll turn into a song. But also like I wouldn't be able to finish all these songs without like help from like my friends, like. Let's say Xin, she always like performing here today. I would always like go up, like consult her, like, oh, like do you think like this arrangement will work? So yeah, it's all about collaborating with one another.
Yeah, it's beautiful that you have friends who
also I'm very grateful.
do the same and that can able to give you their perspective because sometimes it's funny because sometimes you hear it so many times and you can't hear anything wrong, and then someone else hears it, they're like, wait, like maybe if you do this way, it will sound better. And you're like, oh wow, like I listened to this song 10 times exactly. And I could not hear that.
Yeah, and I look up to all of my friends and all of the musicians that I know. So I always go up to them for advice, and I'm very very lucky to have them around.
Awesome. Great. Well, it's been great chatting with you. Is there anything else that you would like to shout out now? It's a great opportunity. Maybe. I don't know, any other projects that you've been working or...
I think I've said it all. Well, shout out to Video Creators Lounge. Thank you for giving me the platform. It's been so long since I had an original gig. You don't know how hard and how like I'm like craving for this. So this is very exciting. Thank you guys so much.
Yay! Well, we are excited to have you here and to hear you perform. So all of you guys for watching this interview, please tune in back in a little bit so you can see Jessica perform. Okay. Well, it was great having you.
Thank you, Jen.
Do you want to shout out your IG account so everyone can go ahead and follow you?
All right. My Instagram handle is at JessNathania, JessNathania. Same thing with Facebook, Jessica Nathania. You can find me on Spotify, iTunes. My website is jessicanathaniamusic.com. Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Woo!